The night was sticky and warm, the kind of Louisiana night where the air feels heavy on your skin and the cicadas hum endlessly in the trees outside. I was home alone. My parents had gone out to a late dinner, leaving me with the quiet hum of the old house and the shadows stretching across the walls. I tried to tell myself I wasn't afraid. After all, I was 15. I was locked safely in my house. I could call out for help if needed. We were surrounded by neighbors. But yet I was. Everyone in the city was. The newspapers had been full of stories about the Axeman, the man who had terrorized New Orleans with his hatchet, murdering 12 people in their homes over the past year. People whispered about him in hushed tones, speculating about his motives, his patterns, even his next target. Police hadn't caught him, and he was still out there somewhere. I curled up on the couch with a book, but I couldn't read a word. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle outside made my heart jump. And then I heard it, a soft shuffle from the hallway. My stomach dropped. It was coming from the direction of the front door. I froze, every muscle in my body stiff. The shuffle grew louder, closer, until I could almost feel someone's presence in the room with me. My hands clutched the edge of the couch, knuckles white. I couldn't see anyone, but I just knew that I was not alone. A sudden draft brushed past me, carrying the faint smell of smoke and something metallic. My mind raced. The newspapers had called him the Axeman because he used an axe to enter homes and kill. 12 people had been murdered in cold blood, their doors broken down in the dead of night. And here I was alone in my own living room with the front door slightly ajar. I could feel the breeze coming down the hallway. I turned slowly on the couch, looking down the hallway toward the front door, and then got up slowly. I tiptoed toward it, heart hammering in my chest, desperate to see who or what had entered. But as I peered into the dim hallway, the shadows seemed to twist and move. My breath caught when I saw the faint glint of something sharp lying on the floor near the door. An axe? Or just a trick of the lamplight? Then the sound of a phonograph drifting through the neighborhood reached my ears. Jazzy, lively music, like something from the speakeasies I'd only heard about in stories. The sound was surreal against the tension in the air. And just as quickly as the fear had built inside me, the presence in the house vanished. I never saw him, never knew who had stepped into my home, but the music outside made it clear. Whoever it was, he had left. I sank to the floor, shaking, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The Axeman, or someone pretending to be him, was still out there, and I was lucky tonight. Even now, when the wind carries a faint jazz tune through the streets, I can't help but wonder, was it really him? Or just some shadow playing tricks on my mind? Even after the music faded into the night, I couldn't calm my racing heart. I sat on the couch, staring at the front door as if it might suddenly burst open again. My mind wandered to the newspaper clippings I had seen earlier that week, the ones my parents tried to shield me from. The Axeman of New Orleans, the man who had struck fear into the city, had claimed 12 lives in brutal, horrifying ways. Most of his victims had been attacked in their own homes. Some were chopped while they slept, others beaten with an axe that had been brought inside by the killer himself. He seemed to have no pattern. He struck people of all ages, men and women, and there were rumors he sometimes targeted Italians in particular, though no motive was ever clear. One night, He even wrote a letter to the Times-Picayune, claiming he would spare anyone playing jazz music in their homes. Yes, he had written, that is the music I like. When I hear it, I am kind. I will pass your house by. The thought made my skin crawl. Could this really be him? The idea that some stranger could break into my house, lurking in the shadows while I sat helpless, made me feel smaller than I'd ever felt in my life. I imagined him moving silently through the house, searching, deciding, maybe listening to my every breath. The idea that his axe could be just inches away made me shiver. I tried to remind myself that I hadn't seen him. Maybe it was only a burglar, someone who had heard the stories and wanted to scare me. But a rational thought was hard to hold on to when your own house feels like a trap. Every creak in the floor, every distant bark of a dog, every gust of wind through the shutters made me jump. I remember crouching by the window, peering out into the warm, dark street. That jazz tune was still drifting from somewhere, perhaps from the corner bar, perhaps from the house just down the street. It was lively, almost mocking in its brightness compared to the dread that had settled into my bones. And just as the music played, I realized the front door had swung closed on its own. Whoever or whatever had entered was gone. I spent the rest of the night wide awake, listening for the shuffle of footsteps, the creak of an axe sliding across the floor. Dawn came finally, painting the streets golden, and I could step outside without shaking. But I never forgot that night. Even years later, when I hear jazz drifting through the air on a hot New Orleans evening, I feel that same chill, that same sense that the Axeman or someone like him might still be out there just waiting, listening, deciding. I still don't know who came into my home that night. I never saw him, never knew if it was truly the Axeman himself. But I do know this, the fear was real, the danger tangible, and the memory of that music and the shadows will haunt me forever.